Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Blossoms, and we are starting Kazama's route today. Woo! Are you excited? I'm excited! So, we do not have to give him blood, because he's a demon and he's not a fury, so that's awesome. So that's a refresher. And apparently, in Kazama's route, there's an unrequited love ending, and then there's a bad ending, but there are no game over endings. So it's not like all the other routes where you do the game overs every chapter. So, probably because the game overs are usually based on, except for Harada, obviously, are based on the not giving him blood. So, like, they were probably like, I mean, I guess with Kazama. So he's got 2 bad endings, basically. But, so yeah, so that's going to be different. But anyway, Kazama. Yes! I love these. We need these in the CG thing. I fucking love them. They're gorgeous. Just want to wallpaper my walls with them. My phone background is fucking Code Realize. Like, so like when you scroll, it slowly moves the photo. It's great. And my lock screen on my phone is Grell. So like every time I now go to unlock my phone, it's like, ah! I forgot after I did it. The next day when I woke up and I go to pick up my phone, I'm like, I forgot you were there, Grell. That's awesome. Anyway. Winter, 1864. In order to find my father, with whom I'd lost contact, I, Spacey Yukimura, visited Kyoto. In that city, I bore witness to a horrifying secret hidden within a group called the Shinsengumi, the Fury, a creature with white hair and crimson eyes. Luckily, I was saved from the vicious clutches of the Furies by the members of the Shinsengumi. Because I had discovered the Shinsengumi's secrets, it was proposed that I live with the Shinsengumi men, since they were also searching for my father. I was given the position as the commander's page, and thus my life with the Shinsengumi began. I'd heard rumors, well, whispers really, that the Shinsengumi were little more than a bunch of crooked ronin, but my life with them proved otherwise. Their commitment to protect the safety of Kyoto made them the last of a dying breed. True samurai. It set them apart from those who only craved power. Do you really feel like, do you just like, are you like saying that? I know it's worded slightly differently in different routes. It's not always word for word the same. But like, do you literally find yourself like mouthing along with it? Like, because you've heard it so many fucking times? Because I feel like I don't even need to look at the screen. Like, I know what's coming up every single time. Like, this is where it starts getting slightly different. Especially now, because usually we talk about the demons and like, they came to try to kidnap me, and now we're like, I fell in love with them, basically. So, anyway. It was during this time that a group of demons, led by a figure named Chikage Kazama, emerged, standing in opposition to the Shinsengumi. Look how pretty he looks in this. Kazama had singled me out, revealing to me the presence of demon blood flowing through my veins in the interest of abducting me to become his bride. Can't abduct the willing. That's what we are in this route. The tug and pull of the demon's relentless pursuit revealed itself to be quite the tense struggle. At the time, the fate of the shogunate was threatened by the Satsuma Choshu, which later culminated in an inevitable, that is fucking hard, battle for control of the nation. In an inevitable battle. That's a tongue twister right there. During this battle, later known as the Battle of Toba-Fushimi, I found myself hopelessly separated from the Shinsengumi, only to be rescued by Kazama. Unfortunately, victory was unanimously declared in favor of the Satsuma Choshu, much to my despair. In a show of desperate abandon, the Shinsengumi retreated back to Edo with their remaining forces. With the aid of Kazama, I embarked on the trip back to Edo in search of the Shinsengumi, making my way back to the city I used to call home. Well, there you go. That was Kazama's route. Did you enjoy it? Okay, bye. Do do do. Chapter 1. Hold on. Wait for it. It's funny for a reason. Funnier to me for a reason. For reasons. Wait for it. Early winter, 1868. Not today, demon! Like, Not today, Satan! And that just makes me think of Bianca Del Rio, and I just... Oh, you usually give me, like, song titles from, like, the Beatles and stuff, and now you make me think of my favorite drag queen. Game! You're fun, I love you. Anyway. Early winter, 1868. Intensifying tensions between the Shogunate army and the Satsuma Choshu were reaching their limits, and thus the Battle of Toba-Fushimi erupted in Kyoto. The Shinsengumi had been honorably tasked with the order of guarding the Fushimi magistrate, but upon witnessing the Satsuma Choshu's devastating firepower, much of which had been purchased by Western arm dealers, the Shinsengumi was forced to retreat. In the ensuing chaos of the magistrate's evacuation, I was separated from the Shinsengumi, isolated amidst a sea of bullets and cannons firing overhead. I fled helplessly to the outskirts of Kyoto, taking refuge in the vast forest until a traitorous band of ex-shogunate soldiers discovered me, where Kazama, who'd arrived at the scene coincidentally, coincidentally should be in quotes there, like, he's following you, saved me from their dastardly clutches. It was in this time that I reunited with father, or as others know him, Koto Yukimura, as well as my estranged twin brother, Kaoru Nagumo. It's funny, because this is like the backstory that we should have had in the backstory part. Now we're getting in this. Interesting. But there was a very different air about father, and he was no longer the man I once loved dearly. He synthesized a serum called the Water of Life, which was commissioned by the Satsuma Choshu Alliance in the interest of toppling the shogunate handily. To my abject horror, my father and brother revealed that a new accelerated fury was in production, making them twice as powerful and with fewer weaknesses. For the Shinsengumi, it was unknown how they would fare against the imminent threat when more immediate concerns were looming over the horizon. Kazama and I rode on horseback, quickly chasing after the Shinsengumi towards Osaka Castle. Once we arrived, there was a small chorus of demons awaiting us, and we were reunited with Sen, Kimigiku, Amagiri, and Shiranui. The thick air of mystery surrounding Kazama, as well as the rest of the demons, fascinated me, and there was so much for me to learn about them. Sen is the one who advised that we head to Edo to find the Shinsengumi, and so we set off once more, hoping that our trip would not be too arduous. The wind gently caressed my cheeks on our route to Edo, singing its hushed song through the pines, so you didn't take a boat like everybody else. It can take you forever to get there. A thick fog enveloped the mountain road, covering the rows of trees ahead. The fresh scent of dew cupped on the leaves hit our noses immediately. Actually, no. Going across land would be... I don't know if I know my geography. It seems like it wouldn't it take longer? Isn't Kyoto like on like one coast and Edo's on the other coast? Like, it would take fucking forever to go around. It'd be like taking a boat from California to like Florida. Seems like really difficult. You know, except for, you know, have to go through the Panama Canal. But like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Maybe I don't know my geography of Japan. I don't, I don't, but anyway. Yeah, I know. Tokaido? Yeah. The Tokaido was still under shogunate jurisdiction. I cannot speak properly right now. For Kazama, who had been strongly affiliated with the Satsuma, this was enemy territory. In order to avoid being detected and engaging in unnecessary violence, we had no choice but to abandon our horse and travel down an off-trail path. My mind had been elsewhere, focused on the hope that the rest of the Shinsengumi had arrived safely. Couldn't you just dress them up like any old person? How are they gonna know when you run into them? Like, we're looking for the Shinsengumi! We're pals with them. How are they gonna know? Like, I mean... Literally, I mean, just don't wear a Satsuma uniform. Like, don't. Although everyone's Western uniforms are black, so how do you know? Don't wear the wrong style pointy hat, is all I'm saying. I was plagued with a haunting vision, one in which some members hadn't survived, left to suffer alone in the battlefield as their life faded atop the cinders. Is that like, because yeah? My arms and legs were scraped by the scattering of branches sticking onto the path as my eyes struggled to make out anything in the impenetrable darkness and fog, Jesus. Ignoring my cuts, choosing to push forward instead. Oh, I ignored my cuts. I was like, ignoring my cut. I can't. I ignored my cuts, choosing to push forward instead. That makes more sense. Calm down for a moment, would you? At this pace, you're really going to overexert yourself well before we reach an inn. I appreciate your concern, but I gotta get my groove back into his voice, sorry. If we want to get to Edo as soon as possible, then we need to be quick about it. Well, it isn't going to happen simply because you will it. Tonight, we'll rest here. But your supreme commander, Lord Yoshinobu Tokugawa, has already embarrassed you all with his surrender. Although it wouldn't surprise me, given how painfully obtuse those serving in the shogunate can be, I believe it'll be some time until they're prepared to stage another large-scale battle. Without a war to fight, Kodo will have no master to give his bone, thus stifling any of his plans. So quit your incessant rushing. Nothing you do now will be of any consequence later. What Kazama argued made a lot of sense. He looks so sad, doesn't he? Look, he's like, normally he looks all angry and haughty, and like now you're like, aw, you look so, like, demure right there. Like, oh, just calm down. Oh, looking off to the side like that. Or more likely, because I had been aggressively jaunting through rough, dimly lit terrain, and my feet were swollen, throbbing to the point that taking another step might cause me to topple over. As luck would have it, I believe I see a deserted house over there. Why don't we take a look inside? Okay. Its dilapidated exterior gave me the frights, but nevertheless, I followed behind Kazama's lead. Hey, this is where we stayed with Yamazaki! He's probably dead. I don't know if we know he's dead in this route. Because, like, I don't remember. Like, so much happened and so many. He died in, like, pretty much everything, so I don't really know. The house itself was very modest in size. A fine film of dust covered every inch of the floor, giving me the impression that it had been vacated ages ago. Is it really okay for the two of us to waltz into this house unannounced? I'm guessing nobody's been here in a while. Although, to be fair, if you waltzed into my house, you would see a fine coat of dust on everything. And I still live here, bitch. Don't just walk in. What the fuck? Just don't like to dust. Christ. Yeah. Anyway. I'd sooner call this a hut than a house. Rather austere, isn't it? It is obvious, though, that no one lives here, so surely no one will mind. Or go ahead and sleep outside if you'd like. I guarantee you that you'll be frozen by morning. Although the thought of intruding upon someone's house somewhat unsettled me, there was no way I could die out here. Not before I discovered the whereabouts of my father and brother and thwarted their evil plans. Fortunately, Kazama found a room with some dingy bedding arrangements, so at the very least I wouldn't freeze like he suggested. Kazama's eyes darted around the room attentively, and he stepped towards a sunken fireplace, lowering himself to take a pinch of old soot between his fingers. Being alone in this derelict house with him was nerve-wracking, though I didn't want to admit it. Without anything to contribute to the conversation, I kept my silence, watching him examine the fireplace. Well, he's not actually in a conversation, so you're not really, it doesn't matter if you're contributing to the non-existent conversation. It's just a weird phrasing, you know what I mean? Kazama's eyes thinned as he stroked his chin calmly. After a moment, he reached his hand into his pocket, taking from it pieces of flint to try to start a fire. Kazama, if you're trying to start a fire, I can do it. He can probably do it too with a snap of his fingers. He's a demon. He can control hellfire. Right? I mean, I watch Black Butler. That's what happens. Not the same? Not the same at all? Wow. Just shut up and sit tight. This will warm us soon enough. But isn't building a fire a little bit more difficult than that? Back when I lived in Ida with my father, or even when I lived with the Shinsengumi, it was rare that we would need to build a fire from scratch. More often than not, we could rely on the hospitality of our neighbors to provide materials when they were unavailable. Yes, building a fire can be quite difficult. But only a human would shy away from difficulty. It's in their miserable nature. Kazama held each piece of flint in his hands, clapping them together in a swift motion to produce sparks. Once more, he reached into his pocket, pulling from it a piece of parchment to use as kindling over the small, sunken fireplace, then continued to clap the flint. Dude, just whip out your fucking lighter. God. You don't have one of those, like, lighters to light a fire? Like, no, like, Bernie logs? Fucking swear. Like, you come with parchment and flint. Hello, just bring a lighter. It takes up less space. I know there weren't lighters then. Like, stop. After a few more seconds, the sparks turned into embers over the parchment. Kazama blew air into the flame, creating a fire where one hadn't been for ages. Probably like days, but although Kazama was the one who'd suggested that the two of us rest for the night in this dingy house, He hadn't looked exhausted in the slightest. Perhaps, I wondered, he was only suggesting that we rest for my sake, which made me blush. Come a little closer to the fireplace. You're shivering. Oh, okay. I did as he instructed and approached him beside the fire, extending my hands over it for warmth. My hands, which had become numb from the cold, wintry night, were tingly as feeling returned. Oh! Oh, he's so precious. Jesus. Yay. Okay, I'm just really glad that we got a just him CG without her derp face ruining it. This is great. Perfect. Thank you. A shadow twisted and flickered upon Kazama's stoic face as he gazed quietly at the flame. You know how precious he is. I realized while staring at Kazama that there wasn't much of anything that I knew about him, let alone the history of his people or where he came from. To me, they were simply demons who were ideologically and politically opposed from the Shinsengumi, and that as a demon woman, I was their target. This was the extent of my knowledge, as his people had enshrouded themselves in secrecy for generations, so much so that even I had no idea I was a demon. All I knew was that Chikage Kazama, Kyujo Hamagiri, and Kiyo Shiranui were all fierce, cunning warriors. Everything else was a complete enigma to me. Kazama, would you mind sharing some stories with me about our people? About the demons? Where did this come from? If what you, Sen, my father, and my brother all said was true, then I too am part of the demon clan, right? But I can't help but feel so disconnected from it all. I have no idea where demons came from, how long they've been around, or what they even are. That's why I wanted to know more about myself, and about all of you, too. I was staring straight into Kazama's face, watching his scarlet eyes fixate on the fireplace scornfully. For a moment he was silent, until he begrudgingly turned his face in my direction. He's not really turning his face, he just kind of glanced over, but it's still precious. I'm not a historian. I don't know the demons. I don't know how the demons came to be. I know her when they decided to settle in this country. But one thing I know for sure is the cycle of strife and bloodshed between demons and humans is a tale as old as time. All right, yes, I'm singing Beauty and the Beast in my motherfucking head. Oh my god! This game really likes bringing up the Disney shit, doesn't it? I know technically in the first one that was me just doing that, but like, tale as old as time. It's true as it can be. I can't sing songs. I don't sing. I sing, just not well, and I'm not going to do it. But, because it'll literally sound. You've heard the way I speak. I sound like a jackass. I'm not going to sing. It's going to be worse, and you're going to, like, stab yourself in the ears. So, anyway. And then that would suck, because then you won't be able to. That might be better. You won't have to listen to me read this. You'll just be able to read on your own. But, anyway. Only demons will never lose to a human if it's not a one-on-one duel. But. What humans have that we do not is the gift of numbers. A tiger may be the toughest hunter in the jungle, but there's a limit to how much prey it can hunt. Human greed, however, has no limit. Thus, demons decided to exile themselves as a measure against the destructive force of humans. Yeah, I don't blame you. Some demons, however, chose to resist the stain of inferiority encroaching upon our lands. And their resistance proved futile. Resistance is futile against the Borg. In the end, the humans exterminated them without remorse. If you were, if you were ever told the legends or folk tales of demons in the past, this is where their legend bears its origin. Some of them, those that survived at least, are still alive, living in the shadows all across this country. I wondered to myself how the demon clans might have coped with being driven into hiding. Listening to Kazama speak of his people's history so coldly raised many questions for me. I want to know why he opposed the Shinsengumi. Neither option gave me any romance points. Wait, what? Neither option gives you any romance points? Huh. Well, let's just go with this. Because why would he know about us? So, sure. Kazama, you mentioned something about how many of the demon clans went into isolation to disappear from human society. What compelled you to associate with the Sasuma Choshu and oppose the Shinsengumi? It was peculiar that Kazama would violate the self-imposed exile when the rest of our kind was in hiding. Re-entering human society as a force of reckoning in the middle of a heavily politicized conflict rang out as especially strange to me. Kazama was expressionless, thinning his eyes slightly in reaction to my question. There's nowhere left to hide for us, and nowhere left to run. Nowhere untainted by the curse of humanity. What? The average human knows nothing of our existence, unlike the domain leaders and cultural elites who have been well acquainted with our people for ages. 2 centuries ago, during the Warring States period, some of the warlords and daimyo approached our people, successfully currying favor with those willing to share their demon powers with mankind. One such example, Spacey Yukamura, was your clan. I have a feeling it would be the same thing. So if we said, "Tell me more about the Yukamura clan," it would kind of start somewhere and go into the same thing. So, yeah. What? During the Battle of Sekigahara, it was your ancestors who avoided Ieyasu Tokugawa, aided your Ieyasu Tokugawa in his campaign to usurp control of the country with military force. The Battle of Sekigahara was one of the most important battles in our country's history, signifying the pivotal shift of power to the Tokugawa shogunate into the Tokugawa shogunate's hands. To think that my ancestors had a hand in influencing the battle's outcome astounded me. The Kasama and Onigiri clans realized that the threat passed by Tokugawa and allied with his enemies. Realized the threat posed by Tokugawa. Sorry, I can't read. Just, you get over it. Our current allegiance with the Satsuma Choshu is simply a continuation of our previous arrangement. Shiranui, on the other hand, appears to be serving the Choshu with intentions that are unknown to me. However, this shall be the last time our people involve ourselves with paltry concerns of human conflict. The Satsuma are no longer dependent on our aid either, since they've been more than successful in toppling the shogunate's regime. My mind suddenly went to the thought of the Shinsengumi men, and my eyes fell to the floor. The flame continued to crackle, punctuating the silence floating between Kazama and me. We start early tomorrow morning. Perhaps it would be best for you to rest now. I can't do his voice right. I'm not doing it the way I normally do it, but I can't. I don't know what's wrong with me. In all honesty, I wanted to continue talking with Kazama for a little bit longer, but you're right. I think I will then. There was still so much of the mountain that we had left to trudge through, so I needed every minute of rest that I could get. It wasn't until I'd gotten close enough to the bedding that I realized just how moldy and musty it was. Um, oh my god, seriously? Don't be a bitch. Kazama, do you really expect me to sleep here? Like, the moldy and musty the bedding is not. Do you expect me to sleep here? Pardon me? How many other rooms do you see? But as I listened carefully for any sound outside of the house, I picked up none. Not a single bird nor insect. Seemingly the only life in the nearest mile radius was Kazama and myself. That's right. Just us. Alone. What's wrong? Hadn't you crawled off to sleep? I know! Although both of us were demons, and in spite of how I had been dressed, the fact remained that Kazama was a man, and I, a woman. What? Sorry. Here we were, the two of us, sleeping under the same roof like it was nothing. I didn't want to tip Kazama off suspiciously about my behavior, but just in case, I discreetly pulled the bedding from beside his bed toward the far corner next to the fireplace. No matter how sly I tried to be, Kazama picked up on it immediately and smirked mockingly at me. Of course he did. Nice. I noticed how uncomfortably your eyes had been shifting, but now it all makes sense to me. You have a problem with that? I mean, I am a woman. I just figured it was better to be safe than sorry. Why every single time I've got to fucking update on my goddamn tablet? No. Why was he sniggering? His eyes thinned as they darted towards me. He spoke sharply, his voice just above a whisper. Do you intend for me to make a move on you? Of course not! My cheeks were burning, and not because of the fire. I'm simply messing with you. You take me for some boorish creep, don't you? Demons hold tradition and decorum to a high standard. Fear not, for I shall not lay a finger on you until our marriage is finalized. Marriage? But I have no desire to marry you. Forget it. Just get some sleep. Tomorrow will be even more grueling. It'd be in your best interest to rest. Okay? Kazama spat out harshly at me, but I knew his intentions were kind, so I did as he instructed and slipped tentatively into the damp, mildewy bedding. Ugh. That's enough to give you fucking, like, asthma. Although, it hadn't gone without saying that I was still skeptical of Kazama. Allergies, something. Yeah, that's not what I meant to say. But you know what I mean? That's gonna make you fucking sick, basically. But for now, I had to trust that he wouldn't lie to me or take advantage of me while under his custody. More than that, it was far more pertinent that I should worry about Father and Kaoru's whereabouts. I was terrified by the thought of Father's new furies mercilessly overwhelming the Shinsengumi with their savage hunger. I must do whatever it takes to stop them. I shut my eyes uneasily, falling asleep as the fire crackled hauntingly behind me. I love the fact that that CG was just up for so fucking long. As I awoke, huh? Every inch of my body ached, and it felt as though I closed my eyes and opened them a second later. Yeah, right back to this CG. I love this. Can we just play this entire game with just CGs? Great. Kazama was fixed in place, sitting exactly as he had been when I first fell asleep, giving me the strangest feeling of time dilation. Sunlight refracted through the window, illuminating the cloud of dust. Sunlight refracted through the window, illuminating the cloud of dust particles floating in the room. If I could not pause when I don't need to. A sparrow brightly chirped outside. It was morning indeed. Is it morning? Ah, you've awoken. As soon as you're ready, we will depart. Okay. Although it felt like I hadn't slept at all, at the very least I was able to recuperate somewhat from the previous day, just in time for another physically demanding trek. Kazama, if you want to marry me, will you give me a piggyback? Because I'm just saying that might win me over a little bit. Kazama, did you stay up the whole night? Well, not the whole night. Or so Kazama claimed, but I had another idea. It was likely he observed the fire until sunrise, stoking it quietly in anticipation of morning. Thank you. Why are you thanking me? I do not recall doing anything to deserve your gratitude. Just hurry up and get ready. You want to find Koto as soon as possible, don't you? Kazama sneered as he spoke, swiftly exiting the room as soon as the words left his mouth. My initial impression of him was a curt, egotistical man who intimidated and murdered his foes without remorse, but perhaps there was more to him than I realized. That deep down, he had a soft heart. Ever since I became separated from the Shinsengumi, moments like these turned out to be few and far between, but I caught my lips curling into a sweet smile ever so slightly, and my chest felt warm from the inside. Kazama and I traversed the mountain path, walking past the dense rows of trees stretching as far as the eye could see. At long last we reached a milestone, passing beside the most precipitous mountain in the country, Hakone. This was a positive sign, as Ito wasn't too far away. As we tried passing the Seki show, however, "Hold on a minute!" A voice suddenly called out to us from behind. This voice belonged to... "Oh, hold on a minute." "Amagiri, what are you doing here?" "I'm en route to deliver a confidential letter on behalf of the Satsuma to a certain other domain. What a coincidence to run into the two of you on my way there." That's not his voice, but I can't do it anymore. "You do best to ignore the Satsuma's orders. Considering the current balance of power, they no longer need us to serve as couriers to help their meaningless cause." I had a feeling you'd have a snarky remark. I'm here of my own volition. I figured there'd be no need to cast the Satsuma aside just yet. Huh. Suit yourself, fool. Well, the two of you have made excellent time to Ito, but... just how do you plan on passing through the Seki show over there? Huh? Well... Kazama was taking the lead so decisively that I never stopped to think there would ever be an issue. I glanced over at him worryingly, but he seemed unfazed, answering Amagiri with a deadpan delivery. I have a pass. It should work, no problem. I hate to be presumptive, but things have changed quite a bit since we were given those passes. Since those passes are valid under the condition that we serve the Satsuma, and not the Shogunate. I'm certain that if you present your pass, they'll stop you at the Sekisho to verify your identities. What makes things complicated for you, however, is the suggestion that you no longer serve the Satsuma. Enough of your riddles, you imp. Why don't you just say whatever it is you're getting at? I recommend that the two of you find another path, perhaps something more remote, to sneak into Ito. Kazama leered at Amagiri irritably, visibly annoyed by his suggestion. Amagiri, when did you stop being our friend? Like, because you're usually like, whatever, and now you're like, I doubt you're gonna, like, be able to get in because you said you don't serve the Satsuma anymore. Yeah, I just said it right now, but they don't know that. They're not fucking Harry Potter. The passes are they? Is this like Harry Potter? Like, I said that I no longer need to serve the Satsuma, and the pass is like, bitch, turned off. What? No! Ah! Shit. You didn't know that, did you? Surprise twist. Another path. Are you seriously expecting the two of us to discover a more suitable path to enter Ito around Hakone? Hey, I'm just trying to give you some advice. Wouldn't want there to be any trouble for you. In case you weren't aware, the Shogunate lost the Battle of Toba-Fushimi. I doubt there will be issues. Surely the Satsuma would think twice before questioning my allegiances. You underestimate the humans. Just because the Supreme Commander was so willing to abdicate his position in the heat of battle, does not mean that all humans are pushovers. They'll not be so understanding to your plea. Damn you, Amagiri. Where do you get the gall to speak to me so audaciously? Kazama was fuming, and his voice only became louder with each smug refutation given by Amagiri. If they continued to bicker publicly, then the soldiers stationed at the Sekisho would surely notice. Well, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. I must find a way to calm down Kazama somehow. My father will notice us. Why would we say that? That's exactly what we're supposed to say, but... If the two of you have trouble entering the city, then it may arouse the suspicion of both my father and my brother to our plans. If the two of us, sorry. Although the trip may take a little bit longer, we should probably look for another route. Kazama's lips pursed momentarily, carefully thinking over what I had said. Aw, love points! Love points! You make a good point. We wouldn't want either of them to raise any suspicions. Very well. If you feel up to the challenge, and finding another way won't be too difficult. I don't care how taxing the trail is, though. You better not bitch at all, got it? Yes, I understand. Just for that, I'm gonna bitch the whole way. Bitch, 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 bitch. Well, I'll be on my way now. Do be careful. You know, you say that, but I don't know. Amagiri bowed respectfully. Were you trying to help us? Because it really just sounded like you were being bitchy about it. Without another word, he spun on his heel and vanished into the desolate, wintry forest. I just jumped the fence. Kazama and I nodded at one another, walking away from the Sekisho toward an uphill trail that was far from the well-trodden path. Already out of breath, are you? See, I told you this would be too much for you. No, I'm fine. The steep inclines around Hakone were dotted with wide, thick boulders, which made our grueling hike even more laborious. A billow of thick mist stretched all around me, obscuring my sense of direction. Just then... Ah! My foot slipped upon a loose, wet rock, and I just nearly tumbled off the cliff into the valley when... We were doing so good until she almost fell off a ridge. A hand grabbed a hold of me. CG time? Nope. I tried to shake off my horror upon seeing Kazama on the edge of the cliff as I held onto him for dear life. Are you all right? Oh. In one swift, forceful movement, he yanked me back up on the trail. I was silent for a moment, stealing my nerves from that near-death experience. He's like, if you weren't a precious female demon, I'd have let you die because you're a pain in the ass. I don't blame you. The thought of Kazama rescuing me stood at odds with the initial impression that I'd had of him as a crude, sadistic warrior who hated the Shinsengumi. He might be a sadistic warrior who hates the Shinsengumi, but you're a valuable, precious female demon. He's not going to let you die. I mean, Jesus. He may be an asshole, but he's not stupid. Although this wasn't the first time he had saved me, it was something to which I'd needed to become accustomed. Why are you answering me? Are you injured? No, I'm fine. Um, thank you. Let's continue. Kazama spun around to continue trudging through the trail, keeping my hand tightly clasped in his. He only comes across as an asshole. I don't think he's actually an asshole. He just... Ugh, look how pretty he is. He just... And then look at her. Oh, God, she just ruins it. Her eyes are legit the size of his motherfucking head. Like, simmer it down a little, game developers. Jesus. Anyway. Kazama, what are you doing? What are you on about now? You're still, holding my hand. Oh! Kazama forcibly yanked my hand as he marched forward. A mountain trail is no place for a woman to hike through alone. Stick close to me, understand? Okay, thank you. I was slightly embarrassed by Kazama's suggestion, but I did as I was told and wove his fingers into mine. Aww! His hands were surprisingly warm and comforting, despite his grasp being so firm. I'd almost forgotten that they belonged to someone who could so easily slit my throat at any given moment. But, like, that's the same for all of the Shinsengumi-sa. Suddenly, I remembered the question that I wished to ask him earlier, and I tugged at him slightly. Kazama, what is it now? Were you trying to pass through the Seki show for my sake earlier? Initially, Kazama had no response, instead choosing to glare at me from the corner of his eye, but... Female demons are different than male demons. Yeah, female humans are different than male humans, too. What's your fucking point? Captain fucking Obvious. Although your wounds can regenerate, your stamina is just as meek as any normal humans would be. No, so great. We're a demon. Yay, we should be awesome! Nah, you're just as useless as a normal woman. Aw, but you can heal faster. I feel like this is like the Meg in the episode of Family Guy where they all got like superpowers and she literally could just grow her nails. Eek. Oh, what are you gonna do with that? She can only scratch people. Like everybody else had cool superpowers and she just could grow her nails like really long and that was it. That's basically how I feel right now about this. Like, I'm a demon and I can just heal myself and that, I mean, sure, that's actually useful, but everything else about you still sucks. Well. Like, now we know why she's so useless. Well, you're basically just a normal woman. You can just heal faster. You're a demon, but all you have is healing ability. Man, you got the really shitty role in Dungeons and Dragons or something. I don't know. I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how to, like, but whatever. But anyway, your character card sucks. Like, you literally, like, it's like you had to draw a bunch of cards for, like, cool shit and powers, and you basically kept drawing that you're going to be clumsy. Well, that sucks. You can heal really fast. Cool! You're clumsy. Oh. You're kind of useless. Oh, and you're fucking derpy. Oh. Oh. Damn it. I mean, shit. Seriously. Anyway. Therefore, the female demons are often left behind in our villages under the watchful protection of the males who ensure their survival. Oh my god. I literally just, between everything that I just said and this, and was just like, that's why oh, that's why there's not a lot of female demons. We're fucking idiots. We can heal really fast, but we're derps and we fall off cliffs and die really easily. Oh, it's not just because, oh, it's rare to have a female demon baby, like there's something weird in the genetic code. No, it's just they're idiots and they die easy. I can heal fast, but not if I fall down a cliff and break my fucking neck. Oh, that explains a lot. Honey, this is why we have to watch out for you. You're too special to be out in the world on your own because you're going to end up dead. You may be able to heal fast, but not fast enough. It's fucking hilarious. I know that's not what they're intending, but now I just find this funnier. Huh. According to what Kazama was telling me, the natural instinct for male demons was to guard the well-being and safety of their women. Okay, back in the day, it should have been a man's instinct to protect the safety of their lady folk. Now it's like, I will fucking kick your ass. Although, it depends on the man and or woman. Sometimes a woman can defend her man, and vice versa. And sometimes you're both like, well, shit, neither one of us is going to be able to do crap. If that cockroach comes at us, we're both going to die, basically. So, it's a little more even keel now, right? Some women are way stronger than men. Some men are way stronger than the women and have to protect us. And sometimes you're both just fucking pussies. But back then, but seriously, unless you're a demon, then you're just fucking useless and you're going to fall off a cliff. She's done it. 2.5 times now. I count this time that just happened as a half time. Kazama would rarely mince words, but his comment offered me a unique insight that explained so much of his behavior. In a way, it reminded me of the Shinsengumi's imperative to keep me safe. It's because they knew you were an idiot. This laborious journey will be over soon enough. I'll be patient and keep holding my hand. This laborious journey. I don't know why I read that weird. Anyway, okay, I will. I'll hold your hand, like all day and all night. Prior to this, I don't think anyone could have convinced me that I would be willingly crossing Hakone hand in hand with Kazama, but as soon as we get to the other side of this mountain, we'll arrive in Edo. Were the stories true? Would Father truly be able to orchestrate a war with his army of furies in Edo? I anxiously awaited the future, worrying myself about whether or not I could stop him in time. His chapters might be kind of short. There's only, well, you know what it is? He only has 2 choice options in his chapters because there's not a give him blood or deny him blood, so. Because I was just like, this is probably chapter 2, and it is, so. Yep. March 1868. By the end of our brutal hike through Hakone's unforgiving mountain range, we arrived in Edo safely, though my feet were ready to fall off. It was a stroke of good fortune that neither Father nor Kaoru had seemed to hear of our presence. My first order of business was reuniting with the Shinsengumi after weeks of separation, and so I set off in search of their headquarters, but the headquarters were vacant, as all of the soldiers had seemingly embarked on a campaign for their next battle. Kofu. I was like, really? Already? They've packed up and left? That doesn't seem right. Right, Kofu. The Shinsengumi are heading to Kofu. Yes, or at least that's what Dr. Masumoto told me. I'd also discovered that the Shinsengumi renamed themselves as the Koyo Regulatory Company. They were honorably tasked with protecting the territory surrounding Kofu Castle, so they mobilized their troops and marched for Kofu immediately. How unbelievably foolish of them. Their lives were graciously spared in Tobafushimi, and now they're just eager to throw them away. What? They're not being foolish. Do tell, girl. How else should they be described? Yoshinobu Tokugawa shamefully entered a self-imposed exile and locked himself in a temple to avoid any blame. Here they are, trying to leap back into the fray only weeks after their humiliating loss. But why? Neither the Tokugawa affiliate daimyo nor the Hideyoshi daimyo want anything to do with them. It's a hopeless endeavor. Defeat is guaranteed. He's not wrong. We know this. I wasn't sure if I was misinterpreting him, but was Kazama expressing concern over the well-being of the Shinsengumi? I'm in no position to judge whether or not they're making a wise choice, but I don't think they're the type of people to get hung up on the likelihoods of winning and losing. In my experience, the Shinsengumi warriors were more interested in never having to compromise on their strict set of standards. It was a lifestyle that was beyond my scope of understanding, since I wasn't actually a warrior or good at anything. All of them adhere to their principles foremost, and this is an example of that, I'm certain. Kazama glanced at me from the corner of his eye, raising his eyebrow irritably to my suggestion. Look at that indignant bitch face. Just looking at him made me shiver nervously, and I noted to myself how strange it felt to interact with someone so unapologetically cold. Adhere to their principles, eh? Open your eyes. They rely more on instinct than logic. What makes them any different to an injured beast? Let's do this again. What makes them any different to an injured beast lashing out? Injured beast? Kazama dismissed the Shinsengumi to a degree. Oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with me. To a degree that I could only describe as willful ignorance. Holy shit, I think I'm having a fucking seizure or stroke or something. I cannot speak properly today. Scary. I had never met anyone so incapable of empathy. It escaped me how Kazama could mistake their sense of conviction as a desperate show of self-defense. However, as much as I'd wanted to argue, I chose not to say anything. Just as much as Kazama had been basing his remarks on assumptions, I realized that I could just as easily be committing the same sin. In essence, there wasn't much of a point to arguing how other people decided to live their life. Forget about the Shinsengumi. I couldn't care less at the moment. Have you been able to ascertain the whereabouts of Kodo and Kaoru Nagumo, though? Unfortunately, no. Why am I doing all the work? You know I'm dumb. I worked as hard as I could to get concrete details from both Dr. Masumoto as well as some of my father's old colleagues, but none of them seemed to have any clue about where the two of them could be. If they're as adamant as they claim about going through with the Tobaku, then Ito will soon descend into chaos. Tobaku, a formally staged coup to oust the shogunate from power. Okay. Feeding Father's army of furies would require a gratuitous amount of blood, which could cost the city thousands of innocent lives. I must find a way to stop Father's plot before there's any chance of putting Ito's citizens at risk. As I embrace this resolve to defeat Father in my heart, Kazama spoke unexpectedly. Whatever. I'll see to it that both of them are eradicated, as well as their disgusting army of fakes. Why don't you consider staying with the Masumoto man you mentioned earlier, or even stay at the Shinsegumi's headquarters? Huh? Kazama's question blindsided me, and it begged clarification. What are you talking about? I can deal with my father and brother myself. My agreement with Yase's demon princess was that I would escort you to Ito. Nothing more, nothing less. You have spent like 10 fucking paths chasing my ass all around this shit. I want to do a Romeo and Michelle. I feel like I'm chasing you around this entire reunion. I've chased you all over this reunion. But it's basically, you've chased my ass all over this fucking country, and now you're like, look, I said I'd take you here. Be gone, bitch. Now you don't want it? Now that it's yours, you don't want it? Damn. I want candy. I want candy. I want candy. Can I have candy? I want candy. I want candy. Can I have candy? No, you can't have candy. But I want candy. I want candy. Constantly. Fine, here, have some candy. I don't want it. That's you right now. Jesus. Christ. I'm trying to throw myself at you, and you're like, nah. He only likes it when we play hard to get. Well, fine. I'm gonna go play hard to get. The deal never included a guarantee to dispose of Kodo or Kaoru Nagumo. But the entire reason we returned to Ito was to stop them. How delusional can you be if you think they'll entertain any of your asinine opinions? Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Okay. He wants to go after them, right? I'll see to them that they're eradicated. And then he says, my agreement was that I'd escort you, nothing more. The deal never included a guarantee to dispose of them. Shouldn't that really say the deal never included a guarantee not to dispose of them? Because it almost sounds like now she's like, I can deal with them. And he's like, I never said I wouldn't fucking kill them. You trying to talk them out of this bullshit is not going to work. You know what I mean? The entire reason we returned to Ito was to stop them. And he's like, but it's so weird because it's like, he basically makes a comment before like he's going to kill him. Like, I'm going to go fucking take him out. And she's like, wait, but I can handle him myself. And then he's like, I never said I was going to deal with them. But yes, you did. You just said that. So I feel like that was worded wrong. Like, that they translated it wrong and it should have been not to dispose of them. Like, I never said I wouldn't dispose of them. Like, I never said that I'd be nice. And then, but it's weird. It's like there's so much context missing. You know what I mean? Like, I never included a guarantee not to dispose of them, which would make more sense. But the entire reason we returned was to stop them. But then this also makes sense. I never said I'd do anything about them, but we came here to stop them. Oh my god, you think they're going to listen to you? But he wants to kill them. So it's just fucking weird. Like, I know what they're getting at. Like, he's basically like, I'm going to go kill them. And she's like, I can talk to them. And he's like, shut up, dumbass. I'm just going to fucking kill them. They're not going to listen to you. And he's right. We're a dumbass, and they're not going to listen to us. Because we've done this 35 times. But it's just weird how that was worded. Like, am I the only one that thinks it's weird? Like, it doesn't make the sense that it should make? Anyway, whatever. Kazama raised a good point, and I thought back to what happened during the Battle of Toba Fushimi. Flashback? Nope. Nothing I said could have gotten through to either of them, which had been rather deflating. See, so she's basically like, I'm going to talk them into reason, and he's like, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to kill him. But, yeah, okay. In spite of that encounter, I asked Kazama a question. Kazama, do you honestly plan on killing my father and brother? I may as well have been speaking to a ghost as my question hovered awkwardly without an answer. His silence was telling. He refused to look me in the eye, choosing instead to stare blankly at the passers-by. It's only a matter of time, I assume, until they expand their army of fakes. Do not go near them. To them, you're nothing more than a bothersome fly. Got it? He spoke in a hushed tone. Oh, well. Oh. Without another word, Kazama vanished into the crowd of people bustling down Ito's streets. Hey! I realized too late that I hadn't properly thanked Kazama for safely escorting me back to Ito, but now I'm here with nothing to do. It was a far cry from how I had originally been acquainted with him, and that is, as a thorn in the Shinsengumi's side. For all intents and purposes, our arrangement was over. This was not an issue for me, but what else was there for me to do at this point? To prevent the terrifying expansion of Father's army of furies, Kazama only had one option. Finding Father and Kaoru, then killing them. I must do everything in my power to stop him. Wait, you want to stop Kazama? Why? After gathering my bearings in Ito, I decided on the one place that I could still visit unannounced. Home. It was my childhood home, which had been left unattended for however long I had been gone. Part of me clung to the naive hope that Father would be there, waiting for me, but the yard was long overgrown, filled with weeds peeking through the cracked stone path. As I stepped inside, the tatami mat was coated in a thick layer of dust, giving me the impression that few others had visited since my departure. You shouldn't have anyone visiting in your house when you're not there. Just where could Father be? During our last conversation, he seemed set on building momentum with his army of furies, toppling the shogunate and increasing his notoriety, but was that what he really wanted to do? A wave of nostalgia hit me as I entered my bedroom, which was untouched since I'd last seen it. I recalled the memory of Father using this room to treat patients long before it was a suitable bedroom. You appear to have contracted food poisoning. I have something I can prescribe, but be sure to stay hydrated. What is that? You don't have any money? Not to worry. Please feel free to repay me whenever you get the chance. Spacey, would you mind fetching me some of the stomach medicine from the storage room? Father treated every patient with intense care, regardless of their income status or how severe their illness was. He was remarkably kind, giving a personalized touch to each of his patients without expecting anything in return. It's weird that was all faked, you know what I mean? He was a cherished, well-respected member of our community. Surely all of this had to be a misunderstanding. Originally, Father's impetus for creating the Water of Life was for giving the shogunate a shot in thwarting the Empire of Japan from forming. It proved to be a shallow pursuit in hindsight, and his egotism birthed what was arguably one of the most heinous creatures to ever live. I grew angry thinking about it when I heard the front door creak as it slid open. Who could it be? Was it? I froze out of panic, slowly turning my head over my shoulder to sneak a quick peek. Is someone here? His voice was unmistakable. Father? Oh, God. I called out to him shakily in response, and from the corner of my eye, I watched a silhouette slink towards me quietly. Spacey, you've returned to Ito as well, eh? It brings me joy to see you safe and sound. I worried that you might have gotten swept up in the battle, or worse. I could see tiny tears forming behind Father's wide, light brown eyes. Well, it's weird because in every other one he wants to kidnap me and marry me off to Kazama, and now this one he doesn't want to kidnap me and marry me off to Kazama because we want to be kidnapped and married off to Kazama. I just don't get it. It was an expression with which I had been intimately familiar. I almost convinced myself that our last conversation took place in a nightmare rather than in reality. However, I knew better than for it to be true. Where's Kaoru? He's not joined you? Indeed, I have ordered him to complete another assignment. I flicked my eyes back and forth, trying to sense if any furies were nearby, but I couldn't. This may be my only opportunity to speak candidly with Father, and perhaps even convince him. Father, answer me something. Do you really plan on creating more furies as a way of manipulating the Imperial Army? Spacey. That can't be what you really want, is it? Father, didn't you dedicate your life to becoming a doctor in order to save innocent people from dying? When I was a child, my memory of Father was his incredible work ethic, how he'd pour himself into books on Western studies and medicine. He invested himself in his patients. I remember peeking into his room one night as he flipped through his books with only a lantern as company. There was no way that level of dedication could have faded so easily.
Right. Unlike you, my child, I am not a direct descendant of the Yukimura clan. My family's blood has been long since diluted, making me closer to human than demon. As a child, my life nearly succumbed to a severe illness. This is what motivated me to put forth all of my energy into practicing Western medicine. It was a desperate wish to save those who suffered like me.
Western medicine, surgical and treatment procedures adopted from European practice, introduced to Japan from Dutch texts. Father, so it was just as I expected. A father still possessed an innate desire to care for others. No. My joy was short-lived as father continued.
But the funny thing is, Spacey, that no matter how much medicine evolves, humans are twice as efficient at creating tools of destruction. And in my experience, I'm more eager to test them on their fellow man than to help him.
I mean, I can't begrudge you your bitterness on this front right here, because, yeah, no, kind of true. Not kind of, 100% true. Hey, look, we can create medicines to save people, or we can create bombs to murder people. Let's create the bombs! Who are we kidding? Come on. Medicine. Fuck that shit. Like, seriously. Humanity in a nutshell.
If this vicious cycle continues, then all that will remain are poor, lonely orphans like you and Kaoru.
Well, as long as they're not as derpy as me, they might be able to survive. I'm just saying.
I cannot in good conscience allow these imbeciles to run this country to the ground so petulantly.
Hey. We're going to have a quarantine of Ito right now. Stop that kind of talk. It's like the Shinjuku quarantine. I know, I was just bringing some Cholera X Malice in here. Come on, you were thinking it too. The mood in the room suddenly shifted. I gazed in horror as father's body began to radiate a blinding aura as if he were being engulfed in flames. Out of reflex, I cut my hands over my mouth, of course. That's a trope in this game. I feel like I should do a shot every time she does something like that. Like, because I just picture her doing it and it just makes me want to like face palm so, like my face into the desk so hard that I break my nose. Like, anyone else doing that probably wouldn't, but this, I don't know why. She's so derpy. Father! Two sharp horns started poking through the flesh of his forehead, akin to some kind of beast that I had only seen in a woodblock print. His eyes were slowly changing to gold, nearly paralyzing me with their bright, ominous glow. What's going on?
Witness the demon's true form, Spacey.
Demon's true form?
As demons interbred with humans, our people distanced themselves from reaching their full potential, and I was resigned to suffering the same fate. Thanks to my serum, however, the precious water of life, my demon blood has been reawakened from its dormancy after years of suppression.
So you've drunk the water of life?
Exactly.
Words failed me. It was a nightmare scenario, and suddenly whatever delusions I'd had about expecting to compromise with my father were abandoned. Not only had father been creating furies, but now he himself was a fury as well. How recently had he consumed the vile serum was a mystery to me, but it was clear that the man who raised me was gone, and in his stead, a monster.
Between myself and Kaoru, who has also discovered the means of unlocking his true demonic potential, and an army of furies unencumbered by sunlight, no one can oppose us. With this serum at our disposal, mankind will cower and learn how futile waging a war against our people would be.
Here's the thing, why does Kaoru need it? Because he's an actual 100% demon like we are. I mean, I get why we need it, because we suck, but why does he need it? No! Sorry, I forgot to read that. I shook with disbelief, crying frantically at my father as the realization of his crimes was sinking in. My time with the Shinsengumi granted me lessons upon which I otherwise had no perspective. When working in such a close capacity with people from different walks of life, one understands that getting your way is challenging. Compromise is key. For the Shinsengumi, having the Furies made this particularly difficult. For father, however, without anyone to challenge him, there was no one to inform him of what an egregious sin he had committed against humanity. Father, please snap out of this! Do you truly believe that you'll be able to easily curry favor with the Imperial Army and eventually usurp power in the process? Even the Shinsengumi, as strong proponents of the shogunate, were at the mercy of bureaucracy, which only served to frustrate and disenfranchise them. It was hard to believe father and Kaoru would be capable of avoiding the same issue.
If you think the Imperial Army is sitting in any position to exploit and dispense us, then you're mistaken. It is they who should be afraid of us annihilating every last one of them. In fact, we certainly have the means to do so.
What?
What?
It's the weirdest spacing in a word. Anyway, Father's golden eyes beamed with an electrifying, almost unrecognizable madness.
Now, come with us. As a pure-blooded demon, by mating with the Furies, we can guarantee your offspring will be even stronger.
The Furies, all of them. Gross! Gross. If that were to happen, that's him. I was like, if. I'm like, wait, why are we saying if?
If that were to happen, our clan, the Yukamura clan, will give birth to a new generation of demons.
Gross, Dad. Gross.
The world will take notice of our people when we exact revenge on the demons who abandoned us in our time of need, crushing them with impunity.
Father wore a malicious smirk as he extended his hand out towards me. I just want to know what happened with you and Kazama, though, Dad, because you were like besties and trying to like sell me off to him, and now you're not. I don't know. Ah! I desperately searched for an escape route, but Father moved with a heightened agility, grabbing my arm before I could even hit the ground running. Stop! Let go of me! I tried swatting Father's hand away, just as the panic began to set in.
Shut your mouth, you imbecile.
Illuminate me. How do you expect to rally your people and form a new clan if you're nothing more than a bitter, senile idiot? That voice! It can't be! Well, it is, because we already had the thing. This part's going to go really long. I was kind of expecting him to take us away and then Kazama come rescue us, but... Kazama! What are you doing here? Thank fucking God! I almost needed to pinch myself to believe that it was truly him, but he made no secret out of his irritation when he glared at me from the corner of his eye. Could ask you the same question. I thought I'd ordered you to stay low and out of their detection. Here you are, girl. Care to tell me what you think you're doing? Well, I couldn't think of an answer off the top of my head, and so Kazama dismissed me, shifting his angered gaze towards Father. Not only have you committed the ultimate crime in producing more fakes, but now you've stooped low enough to become one of them. It appears as though you're practically begging me to stick this sword in your gut, aren't you? Kazama spat out in a low, bitter tone. He reached over to his katana and unsheathed it, ready to strike as he dug his heels into the tatami mat below. Something about his katana, though, intrigued me. Rather than reflect light in the room, as a katana normally would, it produced its own shimmering gleam, giving it an ethereal, blessed quality. It's, Japanese Excalibur. Drink all the serum you wish, Kodo, but never in your wildest dreams will you be capable of measuring up to what a true warrior can be, or a true demon. This part's gonna be long. Gah! Father let out a yelp from frustration, partly out of embarrassment to Kazama's mockery, but mostly in the knowledge that he was no warrior. After a moment... Ah! Father grabbed a hold of my arm and shoved me where Kazama had been standing. I braced myself to hit the floor, thinking Kazama would sidestep to avoid me and charge at Father. Or so I thought. Instead, Kazama caught me flying towards him, wrapping his arms securely around me as I landed. He's protecting me, because I'm a rare female demon, even though I'm dumb. Well, also because if I fell, I'd probably break my face, because, you know, I guess female demons are wont to injure themselves constantly, are very clumsy and fragile. Despite the fact that we can heal. But that's why we have to be able to heal. Because we're very clumsy and fragile. Huh? 5 seconds ago, I expected to fall face first as I plummeted to the ground. But now this. Father, seizing this ample opportunity, bolted toward the house's back door. Kodo, wait! Kazama chased after him, but... He got away, huh? Should I guess that rat would slip from my fingers? Father had disappeared, successfully evading Kazama's brief pursuit. We probably should have stopped there, but... As Kazama darted his stern eyes at me, I cowered in the corner. Thank you for saving me earlier. I bowed my head politely, but he raised the corner of his lip flippantly. Your thanks are unnecessary. Instead, I demand your answer to my earlier question. I told you not to go near them, nor to pursue them. Why have you disobeyed me? How should I answer? This involves me too. Because I'm a member of the Yukamura clan. If my father and brother are plotting to commit these heinous crimes, then I can't let the burden fall on you to take care of everything, Kazama. Were you not listening to what I had told you earlier, girl? Female demons pale in comparison to what their male counterparts can do in battle. Your presence benefits me none whatsoever. I get that, but if you were in my shoes, Kazama, would you listen to yourself? Could you honestly live with passing on your burden to someone else? Look at his shocked face. My question seemingly caught Kazama off guard. He gazed at me inquisitively, and together we were silent as the wind rustled branches outside. After a long, awkward pause, I got a love point. Understood. Perhaps I'm being forward, but I see in you the befitting. Perhaps I'm being forward, but I see in you the virtues befitting the leader of the Yukimura clan. All I ask, however, is that you refrain from acting so recklessly. Do not allow these rash thoughts to cloud your judgment, or else your leadership will suffer. Okay, I understand. Anyone who even thinks of abducting you under my watch will be punished without mercy. Come with me. You'll feel better watching me peel the flesh from their bones with the swing of my sword. Kazama spoke indifferently, turning around to head back into town. The thought of him promising to murder Father and Kaoru still unsettled me, but I suppose it was far better than being left in the dark without any clue of where Father could be, or what he had been hoping to achieve. I scurried right behind Kazama as we left my house behind. Okay, this is the perfect place to stop. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna wrap this part up here. Don't you read that. I saw you trying to fucking read that. Don't you fucking read that shit. Don't read ahead. I should do that every single time, but it's a little late now. But I always like let it in so you can read it. But every once in a while, I just want to admonish you for reading ahead. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.